Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's session. My name is Justin Crowley here with Forcepoint, and today we're going to give a quick overview of Forcepoint ONE Insights, the new reporting dashboard within our Forcepoint ONE SSE solution. So right out of the box, the nice thing that we do with Forcepoint ONE Insights is we have multiple dashboards out of the box with widgets where you as an admin don't have to worry about creating your own widgets, creating your own dashboards. We take the guesswork out. So you can see on the first screen here is my summaries page, and we call this an executive summary. This is a great page to give you some insight, hence the name Insights, into what is actually happening within my Forcepoint ONE SSE solution. I can see what are my top users or my users that are violating my policy. I can see all the data that I'm protecting and what channel it's coming through. As we know, Forcepoint ONE has the ability to do CASB functionality, so my managed SaaS apps. I can control the web through our secure gateway. I can control private apps through ZTNA. So we give you the summary on what are we actually seeing from a data exfiltration, hence us being a data first SASE, be able to give you the insight and how are we protecting that sensitive data across different channels? What policies am I enforcing, right? One of the big selling points with our Forcepoint ONE SSE is being able to allow unmanaged or BYOD devices. So how much traffic am I seeing coming through those devices? And how many events or policies am I triggering? We know shadow IT is huge, right? Unsanctioned applications, users accessing applications that I as an admin have not approved. So now I can see, okay, how many apps are actually being accessed that I haven't approved? Maybe a user is using their own personal Dropbox while the organization's paying for Microsoft OneDrive. I can now see threats that are being protected or blocked. Because again, built into our solution is our advanced threat protection, or ATP. So not only am I scanning the data from a data exfiltration, looking at PII, PCI, HIPAA, whatever the case may be, what threats am I seeing from a malware perspective? And also what web threats am I seeing? We know the web is a great place for users to get information, but we also know it's a scary place. So what websites are being accessed that are considered threats? And this is all on the summary page. This is all out of the box. I, as an admin, don't have to worry about creating the widgets, making sure I'm seeing the correct data. We have this out of the box. And we even drilled that down even further, where we have the ability to say, great, here's that summary. We now have the option to say, let's drill down into the data itself. Let's look at how many policies are being enforced. Where is this data coming from, right? So I can drill into and see, is it coming from certain websites? Is it coming from certain users? Is it coming through the proxy? So from a CASB standpoint, we also can scan your data at rest through API. So now I can say, great, we're seeing, X amount of data come through API, and what action is being applied? Did I block it? Did I copy it? Did I encrypt it? Did I allow it? We can quarantine that. And again, where that channel came through. We now have the ability to look at patterns, right? So what patterns am I actually triggering? So this is our DLP objects. And again, the one big thing is, who are my top violators? Right? I may look here and say, hey, wait a second, why are the system admins triggering policies so much? Or why is this certain user triggering 2,600 violations where the closest user is only 103? So now I can, as an admin, drill down even further into what's actually happening with that user. And then even from a threat protection, again, we all know malware and ransomware is huge nowadays. So we even break it down into that aspect to say, okay, from an ATP, advanced threat protection standpoint, what are we seeing? How much malware am I blocking? Because again, a lot of the requests from customers is, I want to see what this product is doing. Is this product actually blocking malware? Are my users really downloading malicious content? Are they actually accessing risky websites? Well, we can say, yes, they are. We can see how much malware we're blocking. What are some of the risky destinations, right? So the website may be a certain category, may have a certain reputation. We can say, hey, here's the risky websites your users are accessing. And from those risky websites, how much data is being accessed? What actions am I applying? Our secure gateway has remote browser isolation. So I can say, from an admin standpoint, why am I seeing so much isolated traffic during the last week? So I can see there was a spike on the 24th. Why am I seeing a spike of isolation? Or maybe I see a certain pattern over the last 30 days. And now I can figure out what's actually happening from an isolation standpoint and figure out why that pattern or what's actually happening with that activity. And now, just like any secure gateway, I want to be able to look at web browsing categories. What are the risky sites, right? Again, who are the users that are triggering? Hey, wait a second, there's that admin again. So from a DLP standpoint, I saw that user triggered X amount of events, and I'm now also seeing through the web, they're triggering different events. So I, as an admin, now know I got to look into that user. I got to figure out what's actually happening with that user. And that's a nice segue into, I have all my data. Now I want to create custom widgets. I want to drill down even further into certain users or certain actions. So on the left-hand side here, we have our Discover. And this is where it allows me to drill down into certain data and then maybe create my own widgets for my own custom dashboard. So let's go down to proxy, for example. I want to see some data. I want to basically filter it or include it based on, let's say, the user ID. And you can see based on the user ID, I now have certain measures that I can now report on. So because I'm looking at proxy and I'm looking at data, I can now say, let's do file count. So I can go ahead and apply. And now I can see my widget preview. Now what I'm looking at is users and the different data or DLP events that are triggering, or files that are triggering DLP from a proxy standpoint. Now I can change the different preview if I want it pie, if I want a table, a column, or a bar chart. And then I can see sort of more of the raw data that is creating that widget. Now I can leave it as is if I want. So I can say, great, I have that data. I can drill down into different users, but maybe I want to use this moving forward. So I can go ahead and save this widget and just do widget test, for example, and let's do a tag as in, proxy user. And add that tag, and I can now create that widget. So now on the left-hand side, you'll notice I have my widget catalog. So if I go to my widget catalog, I now have my widget test here, which I can then view who the user was. And you notice that we also have this dashboard link here. So one cool thing that we can also do is create my own dashboards. So not only do we have the out of the box, I can now create my own. So I can go ahead and create a dashboard and call this, let's just say Justin, and add a tag. I can now do my layout. Do I want 3 going across, 1, whatever it may be? Let's just do 3. And now let's go ahead and add my different widgets. So there's my widget test that I added earlier. Let's do malware users, and let's do threat event, for example, and add. So now I have my own dashboard. Let's go ahead and save that. So now I have my own dashboard that I've created. So under all dashboards, I now have my Justin dashboard. Now I can drill into those details. Again, this may be for somebody in HR. Maybe they want to get certain information that is specific to certain users. But what's cool as well, I can even pin this. So I can pin this dashboard. So now when I go to my dashboard catalog, I now have quick access to my specific dashboard. So you could have multiple users within the solution. They can create their own dashboard. I could have Justin here, I could have Ben, I could have Corey, I could have Jeff. So each of them can have their own dashboards. While we do have the 3 out of the box that are more of, hey, here's some insight into your entire solution. Certain users of admins may have they may want certain dashboards. They may want to drill into certain data. Maybe a user from HR, again, wants to look at some HR policy violations. So now they have full control over their widgets, and now they have full control over their dashboard. So just like Forcepoint in general, our whole idea is to simplify security. We're now with Forcepoint ONE Insights simplifying the reporting. We're now consolidating secure gateway, ZTNA, CASB reporting all into one single solution. So hopefully we learned a lot here today, and enjoy the rest of your day.